This was a request under a comment. Now I can't remember which video, so I can't remember where to go back and to thank this person who suggested to this article. But whoever you are, just know that I really thank you for sending me this request. So if you look up the top, you can see, if you just type that URL, you'll be able to get to this website as well, to this article, and it's saved, so even if they take it down, that will always be there. Now, this is a Daily Mail article published on 30th of June 2017, and just remember, this is Daily Mail. And I think the point I want to make when I'm reading you this article is this is meant to be diary excerpts from Nut. Now, the question you need to ask yourself is, did Nut sue? Did she sue the Daily Mail for lying and saying that she had diary excerpts? Or was it purely about a letter that she wrote to be published about a fake narrative? This indirectly debunks the court case, because you'll see with this information, it's just spot the patterns. Don't believe what is actually being said. Think of it as so you're a year in a relationship, literally a year. This is the whole point, a year after she met Harry, supposedly, which we know isn't true. And the relationship is extremely shallow, and they're setting up this villain. The UK press, Daily Mail, Royal Rota, Palace Communications, they're setting up this villain. And they're creating her to be extremely shallow. And it sounds narcissistic. It sounds like there's actually, but when you actually look at the words and the depictions, what they're failing to really bring home is that she's manipulating Todge, and that she even has a relationship with him. It's like he's not even there. He's completely absent. So that's a very interesting thought, that I don't believe that Nut and Todge have ever lived together. I don't believe they were together at all. And this was a whole fabrication from the get-go. And if you see here what Daily Mail, UK Press, British Palace Communications have done, because of course Daily Mail is in the Palace's pocket, as is every UK media channel there is, including, I can't think of any author or YouTuber within this topic that isn't a shill. That's British. I can't think of anyone. Nope. No, literally. And maybe you can make some suggestions in the comments, but you'll just either see me say nope, or oh yeah, no, I forgot about that person. So I'm going to read it out, and I want you to just take in what's being said and analyze it with just impartiality and objective thought. Here we go. June the 6th, 2016. Something awesome has happened. I was introduced to this super cool guy in Toronto. So not July the 4th was the second date, wasn't it? Where he brought her cupcakes. And it was, I think, July the 2nd. Or was it July the 3rd? That they had the first date. And they met on, was it Diana's birthday? I think that was it. Anyway, it was all crap anyway. If you look in my videos, Twitter didn't have those puppy dog emojis, like selfies at the time, that year. Not possible. And the whole story, I mean, I've debunked the entire story. It's just completely fabricated. But they're saying Toronto. And so even before that, I've already said that Kensington Palace have actually said that they've been together since May, hanging around Windsor Palace. So, I mean, you know how this goes. And then everyone was saying they met in May in Toronto for the Invictus Games. But they were already chilling in Windsor by then. But yeah, so this is before, I mean, I think Daily Mail's forgotten about this article because it's still up and they're still thinking that it's like, oh yeah, no, Toronto. They forgot about the whole Netflix deal and Bauer and Lady C and everyone else who's spewed that narrative of early July courtship. Right. I was introduced to this super cool guy in Toronto. He has the cutest English accent and a naughty smile. Is she a porn star? Honestly. Bad news, he has ginger hair. Usually that's actually, like, when you think about it, a naughty smile just doesn't do it for people. If you're either attracted to someone who's got ginger hair or not. So you're in it for money or you're not. Good news, he's just about the most, so money. Okay, eligible dude in the world. So she knew all about him. This is like 2017. So they failed to delete this and she failed to sue them for this. Of course, because you realize the whole thing's made up. Prince Harry, and we all know there's only one way to catch a prince. Pretend you don't know who he is. It worked. And then he pretended he watched my TV show Suits. I'm sorry. I've never watched that show. I don't need to pretend to be an intellect and watch those stupid shows with lawyers and sex appeal, which is really, I don't need to watch that shit to, think highly of myself or live in a fantasy. And her acting was terrible from the looks of it, like absolutely terrible. I don't know how people watch that shit. Anyway, back to it. Anyway, we've been texting for days and soon I'm flying to London. So they've kept the texting story. Flying to London to see him again. He says, I've got to keep it top secret. Righto. Yep, that was Hastings snoring. Jesus. That photo is a Gower, I'm sure it's a Gower Arena setup photo. June 28th, I'm in London. So this is when she's at the tennis. This is when it all first started, remember? And that's when he sees the stupid image of her selfie, which I've already told you couldn't have happened. She meets her new man. I know I have to keep it under my hat, but it's killing me. So there's nothing about like falling in love, or not even falling in love because that's a little too early, but like there's nothing about relationship. It's all about the narrative that it will be nut and what they're trying to create from her, what they're trying to depict. So this is when you're all naive. Everyone's naive. Everyone's thinking, good for him. He's met somebody. Oh, wow, she's, American. Okay, that's interesting. No one gave it a rat's ass about any of this. This is even before the Markles. So this is when they're just starting to create the new version of Nut. Imagine they're doing this while she's supposedly living in the UK. I'm doing my best to be good and even hid in the back of a car when I went to see him. What, like from the airport? What an idiot. I mean, this isn't real, but like the whole reality of it, if you're to actually, imagine it, is just stupid. Like, who wrote this? A 12-year-old? On the plus side, I got to watch tennis. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes I just, get over it very, very quickly. Yep. Okay. July 15th, we've been dating for over a month now, and Harry is worried. So by this time, she's back in, not Canada, because she doesn't live in Canada. She's never lived in Canada. If she's working on the set, she stays somewhere. So let's say July 15th, she was supposedly back in Canada, because she supposedly lived there. We've been dating over a month now, and Harry is worried people might be onto us, so I'm trying to throw people off the scent with my Instagram post, which isn't true at all. She did symbolism and cryptic symbolism for since 2014. So, no, that's not it at all. This has been a setup for a long time. And then when you think about the Bananatarian campaign I just debunked, that was in 2014 when she pretended to be Lady Diana. So she's met him, if you go off this narrative, she's met him in June 2016, but in 2014 she was Lady Diana. Yeah. This has been, strategized for a long time, and they just didn't know how to execute it. And they completely fucked it. So, dating for over a month, fries before guys. Not when that guy is fifth in line to the throne and you don't stay as skinny as I am, eating chips, as the Brits call them. I'm waiting for that laugh in the Bananatarian campaign. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, righto. July 17th, Operation Bag Myself a Prince. So far, so good, but our romance is still secret. Wink. And we're on opposite sides of the Atlantic. I worry some blonde toddy, as Harry calls them, will swoop in and steal my man. But it sounds like you're only, dating with no strings attached. There's no actual connection described here at all. There's nothing that you know of him. There's nothing he knows of you. There's literally nothing here that depicts actual sentiment or a genuine connection. And so you can see that this whole thing's been fabricated. They're trying to convince you of this shit. Like, this is real. It's pretty amazing in that way. Obviously not the writing and not the storyline, but it's amazing to think what they've done so early to try to convince you of something that you were completely naive to and weren't even thinking. But our romance is still secret and we're on opposites. Yeah, I worry. Yeah. They say Harry's so not into commitment. I don't want to scare him off. Okay. You're a month in and you don't want to scare him off. So I uploaded this fun snap of me with raspberries. Come on, what's not to love? I don't know if she put that up, but Gabor Urena actually put that up as a video. I know that's for sure. So, yeah, these are all just stage setups of photos in New York for my best friend's wedding. Thankfully, the hotel rooms look a little like a palace, so you can get used to know how my future home might be. See how they're trying to rub you up the wrong way? How this is meant to really irk you and create this person? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'd give anything if I could take Harry as my +1, but I can still drive him wild from here. Just check out my ass. That is not even an ass. You've got nothing. You are literally a rectangle. I don't know. Yeah. She looks terrible. She looks terrible. Oh, she looks like she's from the reject shop. All right. So anyway, that'll show him it. Just, yeah, okay. Just as a Middleton girl. Oh, yeah, okay. Righto. Righto. This is crazy, this stuff that they're trying to put out. September 1st, I've decided to research the British upper class. But, you know, she was privileged, remember? She came from privilege. Or did they forget that that was the narrative that they were going to sell? So while I'm working hard on my lifestyle blog, The Tig, jetting around the world, staying at really cool, expensive hotels, trust me, it's exhausting. Oh, I make sure to look up some posh Brits. I hang out with a socialite called Millie McIntosh at Soho Farmhouse in the Cotswolds. That's very interesting. See, this is a downright lie. She met Millie and was hanging out with Millie and her husband at the time, who was a rapper. They were hanging out in April at the Istanbul opening of Soho. They were all at the party together and chilling out with Eddie Redmayne, and etc., etc. And Millie McIntosh and Nut were chilling out the whole time together, and that's when they met and they became friends, and they established this friendship that continued whenever she was in town. So when Nut actually came to London in June to early July, she caught up with Millie for lunch. So it's not true that she's just caught up with her then. No, not true. So you can tell that this is a false narrative. She was super helpful and taught me all about the English ways, the importance of queuing. Yeah. Just more shallow stuff, more creation. Yeah, this was at the farmhouse or whatever, from the Soho farmhouse that was newly built and launched. But this is also where Nut was wearing the African bracelet. Mind you, this says nothing about Africa, does it? August the 6th was the wedding. Then September the 1st. No Africa trip. Oh, I wonder. It didn't happen. September 2nd, jetting back home today, and it's been crazy. Month of sun, sand, and you know what? But it's still hush hush. That's 11 long weeks. Okay. I guess at least it's giving me time to... Sorry, hush hush. A crazy month of sun, sand, and you know what? Oh, Jesus, that's disgusting. So basically, she was in London the whole time. This is the narrative by Daily Mail. So she never went to Africa. She never went anywhere. She was just in London the whole time. This is how much control they have over this woman and her identity. She never sued. Why? Because the court case was fraudulent. She only asked for $1 to win because she's just so gracious. Please, that's not why. I guess at least it's giving me time to practice my curtsy. Oh, that's interesting because remember, she didn't know how to curtsy. And she pulled that shit in Netflix and disrespected the Queen with intention. Why is that? Yeah. This is not her direction or instruction. This is not her own creation. I guess at least it's giving me time to practice my curtsy, but deep down I'm over the whole secret thing. Now everyone thinks he's dating some other actress called Jenna Coleman, who's in some little TV thing about Queen Victoria. Yawn. At least my show is sexy. Righto. Shameless. Anyway. Whatever it was shameless. September 28th. Okay, so we have established that I'm discreet, dress well, and know that you should say rubbish, not garbage. She's discreet, dresses well. So then what happened? Yeah. Tick, tick, tick. Now I'm in Ottawa posing for Vanity Fair magazine for my humanitarian work with the One Young World organization. Need I say more? Need I say more? One Young World organization was set up. Oh, it's funny that she's not in this photo, but there's another photo. Kruger Cowan was the PR agency that was done through Boris, the bankrupt guy that should have been jailed, that was a business partner with Miss Harriman, the ex-tennis player. Yeah, so he's an ambassador for One Young World. He helped with Miss with Miss get the PR agency Kruger Cowan, who's the PR agency for Boris, to back Nut and help her create her identity in the UK very, very early on, 2013-ish. That identity was the identity of race was created. That was when it was first created, because they had nothing to go with her. They had nothing to try. And then she did speeches and events talking about race, and, her humanitarian causes. But they were just trying to make something out of nothing. And it's easier to look at it now. But when you think about the ulterior motive here, I think that even was a setup, and that was also a staged narrative. There's like a narrative within narrative within narrative. Kruger Cowan setting that up to be a bananitarian created the facade that it was all Nut's idea to be have her political identity of race and ethnicity, when that isn't the situation at all. It was set up to then be able to go to Africa and Colombia and all these places and have these causes and change global policy. This is the real goal. This is not to do with because she, didn't have a brand. She could have been anything. She was a blank sheet, literally. And so they could create anything from her. And they used her two political identities, her sex and her ethnicity. And then on top of it, they put mental health in there. And then a mother. That's why there's children, right? Because then she's a mother, so she's caring for children, for mothers all around the world, promoting vaccines. She's 40-something% Nigerian, therefore she cares about the Africans and forcing vaccines onto them. And she cares about the world. And, then she was also, so racially oppressed with a brooch that didn't happen. If you've seen my short video on that, basically Lady Michael was wearing that brooch on her outdoor jacket. So when she would hang that up when she would enter the house and the room for that Christmas meal, that brooch would go with the jacket, hung up. She wouldn't see that brooch. And so all of it's been created. That was in December. That was that year, 2017, wasn't it? It was. that early on, that all this stuff was being created in front of our very eyes with an ulterior motive, now for changing global policy. They needed to make her a victim and also a villain and then distract you. And now she's doing all these causes and you're thinking, oh, she's just trying to make money. She's just trying to make a living. But that's not true at all. Remember, they needed privacy and whatever else. So this is the very opposite of that. And you can't, I'm talking about it like I'm talking about her as a person, but that's not how I'm trying to come across, if you know what I mean. It's like so conflicting. This is what I'm trying to say, between the narratives that you've been given and the truth. And the truth is, you don't know this person. You don't know this relationship. You're purely going off of what you've been told. And this article is a prime example of that, where they're literally telling you there's no with a relationship with substance. There's no relationship with substance whatsoever. It's like a contractual agreement. And this hasn't. This is a narrative created prior to the Netflix courtship narrative that then everyone's gone off. And it's completely different. And yet it's still up, and she never sued because she is a construct and she's employed to be a construct. And she gets a lot of money for it, and a lot of money for her crap acting. And this is the truth. So let's move on. So that you got Young One World here. So the woman who was the PR agent for a Kruger Cowan, who did this One Young World, she was the one who got her involved in One Young World since very early on. I think 2014 was the first one she went to. A big day, the launch of my new clothing line, October the 19th. Think tight leather and sky-high stilettos. It's important for a model woman to diversify her career. It's even more important for a certain someone to see what a hot body I've got. Do you see how, this is? It's just horrendous. Okay, I've had it. My jaw is aching from staying so quiet. Righto. I must be a better actress than I thought. Nope. So I posted this cheeky little snap, drinking my coffee in a pose, which is funny. Remember, she doesn't drink coffee. She only drinks green juice. She doesn't drink coffee. In a pose which also just happens to show me wearing Harry's African Love bead bracelet, which I've done a video on. I think he's been wearing that bracelet since, was it 2017? Not 2000, sorry, no, not 2000, sorry, 2017. That's way a bit too far out there. I mean, like 2014, 2011 maybe? Anyway, he's been wearing this bracelet long before, and this is just another created narrative and staging. The bracelet, I'm hearing rumors that the story of our romance is about to break. It goes on. This is the last one. I can't take it anymore. This Thanksgiving picture actually was a redone or redo, also from 2014, I think it was, in her Instagram. This is not true whatsoever, that this was for 2017 or 2016. Yeah, 2016. Not whatsoever. New Year. You can just see how playing the perfect housewife in the meantime. I've noticed Harry's palette has a bit of a bachelor vibe going on, so I'm filling it with flowers. Love my new bubble jacket. Makes me look very posh in English. Do you see how they're just really, it's gross. It's just so intense and aggressive with what they're trying to smear her with. And like, I don't care for this woman. The fact that she's deceived so many people is disgusting. And really betrayed like countries, nations' trust. Horrible, horrible person. But this is just like a really gross and uncomfortable smear campaign to create a narrative. Harry asked me to go with him to his best friend's wedding in Jamaica. Everyone goes wild because there's a picture of my hand on Harry's back. But it's a bit awkward because Jamaica was where I married my ex-husband, which she never did. I've done a video on that. They were never married. And obviously, if the divorce papers has her date of birth, her fake date of birth on it, it's not real, which I've already debunked anyway in that same video. Harry is totally cool about it though. I mean, everyone in his family gets divorced. I know the last American divorcee who married a royal wasn't so popular. But hey, Wallace Simpson wasn't on TV and didn't have 1.6 million followers on Instagram. It's insane just how bad they're trying to play this. May 7th, Princess Training. Yeah. Yeah, I'm over it. But you get the idea. You get the idea that this is a whole narrative that was played out before you. They even changed the whole courtship. And you didn't remember anything. I mean, I unless you read these articles, you don't think, oh yeah, that was what it used to be like, and they've lied to me.